Good afternoon, good evening to all of you. I think we'll start as we have already taken 4 more minutes of our schedule time. I was just expecting that we have people joining us. I think they are still joining us, but we can start at least as a matter of discipline, because those who have joined in time should not keep on waiting. So let us start. Okay. Warm welcome to all of you, and thank you once again for being here, the part of this webinar series on IMMS New Horizon. We have so far 7 sessions already, and out of these 7 sessions, the first session was conducted by Unmesh Bhai, our managing director, which was to give overview of the product. The other sessions that I am doing, that we have started from 1st May, and that, as all of you know, we have broken this up into logical sequence of as the system would move. So we have taken the CRM part first, from there to planning, to purchase, where there were 2 sessions of purchase on material purchase and stores operation, followed by material receipt QC, to production. The last session we had was on subcontracting, and today we are trying to cover the CRM 002 as it is labeled as on the dispatch side. The objective is that with the cycle, with the webinar that we are planning to cover today, we would logically end our webinar on one cycle, starting from lead entry to the invoice, on the basic functionalities that is available in the system. To the extent possible, we have detailed this on the screen, field by field. When the recordings for this are getting uploaded on our website in a very should be feasible for you to access them maybe in a maximum a week's time. So in between, if you need something, we can maybe arrange to deliver it directly to you. If you think that something has been missed, then please let us know. Send us an email or you can let us know and we'll get it done. But yes, we are going to do this, and obviously we are going to subject to your feedback. But yes, we plan to continue this session at least for the next 1 week, where we will take care of certain other important features of the software which we have not covered so far, like our MRP engine, exceptions, various other things. So 2 or 3 sessions we'll definitely have to explain the features and functionalities that we have as a part of our software. So with this background, let's go to our today's agenda. In our session earlier, we have seen for the CRM module, we have seen the lead entry, that is the inquiry entry. Followed by that, we have seen the quotation entry. We have also seen the follow-up entry, that if the customer, till such time the order or inquiry gets its logical level, we have to keep on following with the customer. So that part we have taken. Then we have taken the sales order receipt entry, that is receiving customers purchase order and booking it in our system. As we had said in that first session on 1st May, this lead entry, then follow-up, quotation are optional processes in the system, because some of the customer organizations where we implement our software may choose to use this from the software, or they may choose to keep it external to the software. So depending upon, but from sales order entry, it is a mandatory process if for the organizations who would like to use the system on end-to-end basis. So and if we was to use order to cash cycle, then yes, we have to have the entries done from the sales order entry side. So we will start with again the sales order part. Just to take back to what we did then, I missed to say, but as usual, my colleague Sunil is helping me to navigate this software for all of you. So this is the screen where we are entering the customer's order. We would like to highlight some of the features that we have done, but still we would like to do that again so that it is a logical sequence of order to dispatch. That in order entry, we allow two types of order entry. One obviously with quotation reference and other is without quotation reference. What we expect the users to do the entry here is what the customer has stated, whatever has been agreed to in terms of order between us and the customer. When I say us, I mean our customers who will be using this product. So us and customer, that is something that has to be entered here, including the date on which customer has desired this material or item to be received. Then it comes to the next step, which is the order acceptance or order acknowledgement, wherein based on the internal discussions that the sales team and all relevant people in the company may have, because we are into largely capital goods manufacturing. Our customers are into largely capital goods manufacturing business. So normally as a protocol, we have understood that this gets under discussion, and then the delivery date, if there is a change between what as customer has demanded versus what is feasible to provide, is decided, and that we have to write as a part of the OA. So that field is what we call it committed date of delivery. So when we say committed date of delivery, that means that what customer has said was already mentioned in the delivery date. You can see these two fields here on your screen. Delivery date, which has come from the sales order, and this is something that the customer has demanded. As against that, committed delivery date is something that as an organization we have agreed to fulfill. So this is an important step that I wanted to highlight. Having said this, and like we completed the entire production cycle along with subcontracting, let us assume that we have something, we already have what the customer had demanded. It has manufactured, it is already there in stock now, and I can start the dispatch process. But prior to that, I would like to highlight and explain a couple of other business processes that are available in the system as a part of the features functionality. One obviously very important is pro forma invoice. In many of the cases, customers expect that there should be, as a practice, it is the case that usually it is the pro forma invoice has to be given to the customer to intimate to them also that the material is at two stages. The pro forma invoice can be given. One, obviously at the time of offer stage, where you would like to put up to the some financial institution or bank, that is a different issue. But more often than not, it also happens that once the material is ready and if the conditions of the order, payment conditions or terms are such that on the readiness of the material something is required to be paid by the customer prior to dispatch, then also this pro forma invoice is extensively used and we provide for that. So as you can see, there are three alternatives on sales order. When you say on the sales order, it means that customers order number based information we are seeking. When we say on quotation, obviously whatever quotation we have given. And when we say OA is also on the items that we have given the confirmation to the customer, for that also pro forma invoice can be given. In some large customer companies, we have, as I have said told in these sessions, there is a reality that sometimes it may not be feasible for our customer sales and overall the team to commit the delivery date of all the items required under the order simultaneously. So they may choose to confirm the date of delivery. The commit date of delivery may be in phases. Still, we have an option to retain the same OA number, or if they choose that we would like to have separate OA number for the confirmations that we have given, then that option is also available. So when we say OA based, so obviously whatever items are already for which we have given the acknowledgement or acceptance, those items will be made available for the purpose of pro forma invoice. This may be more useful in case of sometimes the spares type of requirements where the customer has asked multiple items, out of which some of these are ready and we are ready to, we can offer them, we can deliver them. So in that case, maybe the pro forma invoice may be raised only for these items which are ready and that can be given to the customer. So depending upon the payment terms, maybe we expecting to first remit the money or whatever. Once we receive it, then obviously for the balance items, maybe the next pro forma invoice can be raised. One question that we sometimes keep on getting from the customer users that I would like to mention, that many people sometimes as a practice do it get that earlier, suppose I had, as I said, spares का मेरे पास 10 अलग अलग आइटम का ऑर्डर आया था, उसमें से मेरे पास 6 रेडी हैं और 6 कस्टमर लेने को भी रेडी है, तो मैंने उसको प्रोफॉर्मा इनवॉइस भेज दिया। फिर वो प्रोफॉर्मा इनवॉइस मैंने भेज दिया और ये हो गया। अभी बाद में या तो 6 देने का आया, तब तक पता चला कि नहीं और एक दे सकते हैं, तो ठीक है कि एडिट में आप कर सकते हो। लेकिन सिचुएशन ये है कि समटाइम्स दे फील कि अगेंस्ट द ऑर्डर, even if we give pro forma invoice multiple times, system should allow edit of the pro forma invoice and allow to add new items in the same number. Now this is a control that we do, though pro forma invoice does not have any financial posting, but we as a system overall control, once the document is completed and it is done, then we do not allow that document number to be reused, including the pro forma invoice. So this is something that I wanted you to note. Okay, pro forma invoice can have both the order details plus the taxes. If you have to collect sometimes the full value prior to the dispatch, then that facility is also there. As I said, if there is a capital goods case where the agreed terms with the customer is that he has to give 20% advance at the time of order. Fine, he has given 20% advance. So one advance we already issued at that time, we gave one PO. Suppose the second is that we are in the readiness of the equipment or machine is there, we are demanding suppose 60 more percent. So at that time, you can raise the next in pro forma invoice at the time of machine's readiness for 60% of the invoice value. So at that time, against the order value, how much advance is already received is something that can be is available as a part of the system. Already received advance, to be received advance is something that we have to write, and as a part of the system or agreement with the customer, if customer is going to retain our some money, we can mention that here as well. In some cases it happens that maybe, as I said, 20% advance, 60% against the readiness of the material, equipment or machine, and then say maybe says that 20% we will give you upon material reaching us and maybe the installation is complete. So to that extent, if that is a retention, yes, we can mention that so that it is known that, okay, unless the material reaches there, we cannot demand, and installation is done, we may not be able to demand this money. So that is why we have provided this kind of a facility even at the pro forma invoice stage, so that the clarity is established, right? And we can also see sample print if pro forma nahi. This would be just a reference, not very important. We can obviously have templates from which it will get printed, but Chaudhma to Sunil. It's okay. Yeah, 1500. Even the pro forma invoice can be straight away emailed, as you can see that on your screen as an icon. I think there is some internet speed issue or something that it is taking time. I think leave it, Sunil. We can try something else. I would like to please go to sales order amendment entry. Super. Now, as a part of the functionality that we have provided, if you look at it from the workflow angle, we have sales order entry, and then there is a possibility for user to select, organizations to select an authorization of sales order. Followed by that, there is an OA. But once the OA is generated, SO is authorized and OA is generated, if there is any further change, then in the customer order that the customer has demanded, or for our reason we may have to do it, then system expects users to follow a sales order amendment process, wherein whatever changes have been done have to be recorded, and the recorded changes are that needs to be again authorized. So there is a sales order amendment entry and sales order amendment authorization. Once the authorization is done, then the sales order is having a logical revision number. Physically, not logical, physically a revision number is maintained by the system, that this was the original revision, I mean original number 00, and now there is a revision 1. So that information is maintained, and at any point of time system refers to the latest revision when it comes to the further transactions of in the system. So sales order amendment and sales order amendment authorization is an important process that I just wanted you to know. Now there are, please go to sales order again. Please go down. We would like to show the please pay attention to these two fields which you may be able to see on your screen. If there is a part of customer order execution, if we have to, our customer has to give a bank guarantee, then you can select this option over here. Does this sales order require bank guarantee? Similarly, does this sales order require letter of credit? So if this is selected at the time of order, then there is a further entry in the system which we will show you now. Anyone, that's fine. So what was the letter of credit number, date? If there was any amendment done, then what was the against? Yes, to start with, for against which customer order we are giving the letter of credit. So letter of credit issuance is against which customer order? What is the LC number, date, if amendment, if any, which from which bank we are issuing, right? PO number of the customer, because this SO number is our number, customer's PO number, letter of credit amount, LC expiry date, what was the last date of dispatch. Yeah, further last date of negotiation of this LC, that also we can enter. Even in this case and in case of bank guarantee, Sunil bank guarantee bhi dikha do. Here also we are giving bank guarantee number again against a customer order, but further what we can give is bank guarantee number, bank name, bank guarantee date, due date, claim expiry date, type. Now there are three types that we support, whether it is earnest money deposit EMD, or advance bank guarantee ABG, or performance bank guarantee PBG. So all three are supported, and one more is written as other if there is any special case that organizations have to deal. Oh, name of the beneficiary, customer's PO number, right? Amount if there was any FD required to be given to the bank for executing this, getting into this process of bank guarantee, then what was the FDR number, FD amount, FD maturity date, right? FD maturity amount. Then when actually the FD was closed, and what was the close date, what was the receipt value, when was the bank guarantee closed, who is the person to deal with for this particular bank guarantee, if there was any amendment done to the bank guarantee. Just to give an example, originally there was an EMD which was given, which when the order was awarded got converted into, say, advance bank guarantee. So in that case, you can amend the same bank guarantee, and maybe the value enhancement can also be done as a next row. So maybe पहले 50,000 दिया था, अब लाख देना है, तो लाख के से पहले 50 वाला, पहले 50,000 जो दिया था वो कंसिडर करके एडिशनल 50,000 ऐसा भी प्रोविजन सिस्टम में किया हुआ है. So this is the bank guarantee in case if the order needs to be executed through that. So this is the entry, and obviously there is a related report as well in the system. Yeah. Now, so on the order side, we have discussed today sales order amendment authorization, again the concept of order acknowledgement. Then we have discussed about pro forma invoice, we have discussed about bank guarantee and letter of credit entry. Okay, to handle the business reality, we also have sales order cancellation as a business process, of course with built-in controls like all the modules. The controls are that you can cancel the order provided you have not done these things. Suppose there is no manufacturing started with the reference of that purchase order number. If that has started, maybe you have to change it to the extent that you say that this is not for customer, but now this is going to be for stock, something like that. So the related processes system will guide or suggest that you can do sales order cancellation only and only if there is no linked transaction entry done. So that is important that I wanted to just let you know. Coming to the next thing is OAF sequence, but that is something that we will discuss at the time of auto shop or automation of material requirement planning engine. That when we do that, we will take care of explaining this part to you. And if I recall the sequence right, I think the next session is going to be on auto shop. That is on 2 days later on Wednesday. That I'm sorry, today is Fridays, on Monday. That we can have, right? So now going to the dispatch part, which is our actual topic for the today. As we have discussed during the manufacturing cycle, system has a mandatory business process called allocation. मेरे पास जो स्टॉक में पड़ा है, अगर मैंने मैन्युफैक्चर भी किया, so even after manufacturing, because of the dynamic nature of the business that our customers have, and they may choose to interchange the priority of the delivery. So in that case, that is why we expect that once the execution manufacturing cycle was done, it does not necessarily mean that whatever reference was there for the original customer, unless there is a specific BOM related requirement, BOM changes have been done. Otherwise, it will be interpreted that my finished goods is in stock now, and now I have to allocate it against the OA. And once I allocate it against the OA that's on a finished goods side, item gets reserved Like in case of material planning against an SJO, it gets reserved. So here against a customer sales OA, the item gets reserved. That is why there is a process of sales order allocation. Like I said during the planning cycle and couple of other times that we have discussed, there is also a process of sales order deallocation. Yes, we allocated something to this customer on this priority for some reason. This dispatch cycle could not be executed further. Maybe the logistics could not be handled, or maybe we had raised the pro forma invoice, but the money actually did not reach our account. Something else. In that case, and in the meanwhile, some other customer is ready, he has paid the money, then we may need to change the priority. So you change the priority, and you from allocation you can do the deallocation. When you do deallocation, material is made available for allocation against any other sales OAF. That is why this process of allocation and deallocation is important to explain. So when you explain against an order, when you allocate against an order, it becomes reserved. Maybe you may raise an delivery challan and invoice now, or maybe slightly later. Maybe if there is a logistics issue or some other statutory compliance issue. But yes, the material gets reserved against a customer OA, right? So this is important for all of you to know. Further, now that the material is already allocated against a customer order, the next logical step is to prepare the delivery challan. At this point of time, I would like to mention a feature that is available, which we discussed during the sales order entry time in our earlier session, which is very relevant to discuss now, that as a part of the system, we have facility to enter this, the thing that I'm, the process that I'm talking to you now, whether it is for dispatch or for invoice, I would request you to have your attention on it. What we have is a provision where we say that order received from, so customer order from, as you can see this, bill to may be different. These are real business cases, and third is obviously ship to. So we support all the three as separate entities, that our customer organization may have received an order from, say, a large corporate. Just to give an example, say L&T. So L&T's office somewhere in, say, Mumbai have raised an order to the customer, our customer. So order from is from L&T's Mumbai office. But they are centralizing the procurement part, maybe there. So when they say that, okay, but when you bill, the bill should go to L&T's, say, Baroda office, because this is actually their project. So bill to could be L&T Baroda, and material may be required to be sent to a project of, say, refinery of Reliance to Jamnagar. So the ship to can be Reliance, Jamnagar. So three scenarios we are supporting. Order is received from one entity, the billing may be done to second entity, and the shipment can go to the third entity. So these three scenarios are we are supporting in the system. That I wanted you to please make an important note, because based on this, and yes, there are realistic situations that some of our customers have faced, that when I get an order, my customer tells me that you need to manufacture these many items and quantities in as per this delivery schedule. But they may say that I will let you know if they are going into multiple projects concurrently. They may say that we will let you know whom to dispatch and whom to bill maybe later. As of now, we will not be able to tell you that. Or maybe they say that we will tell you we'll bill to whom, but ship to is something that we can let you know later depending upon the priority at the customer end. It may be so that you have to send at multiple uh, machines or equipments or parts to the same customer on the shipment, but his site there expects something at this only at some point of time. And in that case, this information may be also given by the customer later. So we have to manage that through the sales order amendment, that when it is not clear as to when are you going to give us the shipment address, or if there is a change in priority or dynamics. Yes, one other thing also I missed to tell you, which I will tell you now, is that one customer order entry can have more than one ship to, but definitely one bill to. You can't have that in one order एक जगह से आया, बिल इसको भी करना है उसको भी करना है, ऐसा नहीं. जहां से कहां से ऑर्डर आया, दैट शुड बी वन एंटिटी. बिल किसको होगा वो सेकंड एंटिटी है. और शिपमेंट कहां कहां जाएगा, that is possible, that yes, your shipments can go to separate locations, that is allowed in the system. So delivery challan entry importance, why I did explained all this now, is for the simple reason that when I go to delivery challan entry, I have to select an address which is part of my shipment decision. So wherever I have to ship to becomes my address in the delivery challan. So that is important, that I can, and obviously if there are multiple shipments to be done, or when I say multiple shipments, I'm sorry, when I say multiple shipments to be done, what I mean is that मेरे एक कस्टमर ऑर्डर के सामने मुझे एक जगह भी डिस्पैच करना है, दूसरे उसी सेकंड शिपमेंट भी है, वो भी मैं आपको आई विल शो गिव यू द रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल, दैट चेटको गुजरात एनर्जी ट्रांसमिशन कंपनी has say given an order to a customer of ours who is manufacturing the transformers. And when he is manufacturing the transformers, when he is given the order that you need to give 10 different transformers of this capacity, say 230, whatever, 33 kilowatt or whatever, you have to manufacture. And we will let you know which shipment location to dispatch to once you are ready with it. So whenever the site is ready, they may say that bill it to Paschim Gujarat Wej Company and send it to say Jamnagar. They may say second quantity, bill it, they will say second quantity, you send it to say Rajkot. So shipment address may change depending upon the readiness of the site. So delivery challan will be per shipment location. So that is an important factor that I wanted to highlight. And obviously, depending upon the delivery schedule and delivery location, correspondingly, there will be an invoice which will have its relevant statutory compliance requirements. So this is important that I wanted to highlight and I wanted to show. So on the shipment side, what we have in the delivery challan, yes, you have to, as I have been saying, Whatever information was previously entered that need not be entered, whatever you have against the sales order, suppose that is also a feature that we have, that customer ने मांगा था 10 क्वांटिटी, मेरे पास 7 रेडी है, मैं 7 को एलोकेट करके अगर कस्टमर रेडी है, is willing to take partial delivery, then I can dispatch from 10 quantity, even 7 quantity now, make the delivery challan and the invoice. There may be another situation where he has demanded multiple items. One item is ready and another item is not ready. Then also that type of partial dispatch can be taken care of. So that is something that is available, is a part of the system. You can give all the relevant transporter related information at the time of delivery challan, that what is my mode of dispatch, who is the transporter. As I had said, there is a transporter master. What is my LR number, LR date. This road permit number is the old label that you have to read it now in terms of the e-way bill. Vehicle number, city or port of loading from, where it is going, what is the net weight, what is the gross weight, what are the number of articles that are going to be there as a part of the delivery challan. And if there is a manual packing list prepared, some companies choose to prefer to prepare some Excel based formats or something as a part of their packing list. If they want to integrate this by just attaching it here, then that also is possible to do it here, right? Any remark that you would like to write, that you can write here. So if there are other fields for export specifically, they are useful, that marks and numbers, pre-carriage by, place of receipt by pre-carrier, right? So these are some of the things that are also available as a part of the dispatch data. So dispatch related information is useful from the angle of dispatching the material to a shipment location, right? And obviously the text structure in the invoice will be have to be according to where the material is going. मैं गुजरात में हूं और मैं गुजरात में ही साइट पे मटेरियल डिफाइन कर रहा हूं एज ए शिपमेंट. एज आई सेड, order may have come from Chennai or Mumbai, and I may have to deliver one quantity within, and I am in Gujarat and I have to my customer shipment is also in Gujarat, then that is taken care of accordingly. Similarly, if I have another customer, another shipment location which is in Maharashtra, then obviously tax structure has to be according to the state rules, GST rules. In this, that first case, the CGST and SGST. In second case, the IGST. So the next, this is the dispatch. Then there is an invoice. We have a few cases where obviously few cases meaning it's a reality that sometimes we know that yes, to complete the packing and the related process, we make the delivery challan. Then at times it so happens that maybe in a loading tempo or something, the material is sent to the transporters go down. From there, the actual LR number may come. So we have facility where certain fields for which the information may not be available at the time of making the DC or invoice can be entered or edited even post the authorization of invoice, because that is fulfilling, the information is actually made available only when the dispatch takes place. So that is why we have provided even that kind of a facility in the system. Now coming to the invoice part, as a flow, what we have, I'll come back on this once again, that you have to have a customer order in place, followed by customer order and maybe the authorization if that is chosen. OA has to be made. Once the OA is done, then you have to have the allocation for the dispatch. Once the allocation is done, the delivery challan, and then next to the delivery challan is the invoice. So at the time of invoice, whatever DC has been made will be picked up by the system. If the shipment location is the same and for any reason two separate delivery challans were prepared, suppose one dispatch was ready yesterday and delivery challan was made, somehow the logistics fellow did not come, so by then I have second lot also ready and I make second DC today, so I can also have a common invoice for two delivery challans. That is also possible, provided as it complies with the basic reality on the ground that the material is actually going to go together. So when I select one or more delivery challans, obviously for the same shipment location, then in invoice, rest of the information is readily available, and what the user, authorized user, has to select is just the invoice quantity he has to do. The other important thing that he has to do in case of an export order is he can enter the exchange rate at which this invoice is going to be billed, right? So that is something that we expect the users to enter. Rest of the information will be made available. Exceptions like this, that if we have to charge, say, freight to the customer, for which at the transaction level only it was to be known that जब dispatch होगा तब पता चलेगा कि कितना रुपया, मे बी हमने कस्टमर से, सेल्स वाले ने ऐसे बात करके रखा है कि 1000 रुपया आपको फ्रेट लगेगा और वो आपको यहाँ पे ऐड करना है, तो ये आप यहाँ पे इनवॉइस के टाइम पे ऐड कर सकते हो और इसका इम्पैक्ट जो नेचुरली जीएसटी में जाना है और कस्टमर अकाउंट में जाना है वो सिस्टम अपने आप कैलकुलेशन कर लेगा. When you select the invoice, I am right now talking of invoice of material. Our flow has been right from day one. We have restricted our this flow for the material related transaction. We will definitely in one of the future sessions we will take the service related cycle also. So whenever there is a product or spares to be sold, this cycle we are talking about. So whatever, so from order to order acknowledgement to sales allocation, if in between if there were any amendments they are handled, then there is sales allocation to delivery challan, its authorization, its invoice and invoice authorization will complete the process of dispatch in the system. To comply with the GST requirement, we also have relevant information captured in the invoice stage, that whether this is for export or this is for domestic, and we also capture the information which I cannot demonstrate to you right now on the screen, but that is something that we have already built. I'm not sure, Sunil, invoice type, can we demonstrate type of invoice? Yes, place of supply is something that has to be decided here. Yeah, okay, I can't show you this at this stage, but yes, the functionality that we have is also to take care of, as I said, whether it is B2B. In some cases, we have also found one of our business cases that B2C may be also required. So we have added that facility which will be made available, which will be available in the system. Yes, एक मिनट है, शायद यहाँ पे होगा. No, this is old. Yeah, not this. That's fine. It's okay. Okay, Sunil. Yeah, right. So this is something that is required as a part of the process. And once the invoice is done, obviously relevant postings are updated at every stage, at the delivery stage, delivery challan stage authorization, or even at the invoice authorization. But as I have said, we will talk about the integrated finance effect for both purchase and sales in one of our future sessions. So that and future sessions, when I say, it is not going to be indefinite. If all of your interest, inclination and interest continues, we can continue this activity as we are doing on 3 days a week or so, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So this is something that I had to mention. Obviously, this has its the other thing that I want to tell you is customers sometimes choose to book sales as per uh, for the MIS purpose. They may choose that I need to have product wise sales book. So if that is the expectation of the customer, then we have the provision for that as well, and in the at the time of invoice entry. uh, very important thing as a control that we have built that I would like to highlight on the dispatch side is that at the time of beyond allocation, because allocation is done based on the order. Similarly, once the OA is done, there is no change allowed at the time of DC allocation, DC or invoice के नहीं मुझे इतने के बदले इतने instead of 10 quantities right now I would say that okay, I will dispatch 8. So fine, if that is the decision, then the allocation should be for 8 and 2 will remain pending in the pending to be dispatched state in the sales order. If there is an understanding with the customer and maybe now the order needs to execution actually needs to be done for the 8, then sales order amendment must be done prior to the dispatch. And when we say okay, or whenever we can, prior to the dispatch is not for 8, but whatever is there needs to be corrected in the data. Corrected meaning duly modified in the data with proper revision number, that yes, original was 10, now that 8 and customer does not need more, so I short close the order for 2 quantities, I reduce the through an amendment and I make it to 8. Otherwise it will continue to show as pending. So this is something that I wanted to tell you on the dispatching side. As I have said, on the when we talk of on the procurement side or as well as on the sales side, we are going to have one more session wherein we are going to tell you about the integrated finance effect as well as its link to financials, as to if an purchase activity was done, how is the bill booking done, uh, how is the bank related transactions handled in our financial accounting module, finance module. Similarly, on the sales side, once the uh, money is received, how is it done in terms of accounting with the reference of customer orders. So that is something that we are going to talk about, and also the effect in the general ledger from the point of view of integrated systems that we will tell you. On the dispatch side, the last thing that I would like to show you and tell you is we do have the process of even sales return, which is a reality. Okay, certain controls that we have as a part of the system that also I must tell you, which is linked to dispatch. As per the rules of the government, we have associated configurations in the system that till such time, how much, till what, for how many hours I can keep the invoice in an authorized mode and allow the cancellation. Please mark my words very carefully that if the rule is to have, which is going to be the case in case of even the e-invoicing, that in 48 hours you can cancel the invoice. That means that the actual dispatch did not happen. So once based on that, when you say till such time only the cancellation is allowed, very important other thing that I would like to say that once you cancel an invoice, that number is registered in the system as cancelled invoice only. That invoice cannot be reused in the system, and government has given enough flexibility for the customers and the taxpayer to declare cancellations legitimately. In older times, people used to argue that we have to go to the excise authority, we have to inform them if there is a cancellation. So you please allow us to use the same number. But from the control angle and from the system's integrity point of view, if we say that uh, since our systems are subject to the people or customer organizations where there is the DISA certified or the CISA certified people. I hope you people are aware of the terminology. One credential is given by the Chartered Accountants Institute in India, and the other is an international thing. But basically, that system integrity is validated by such people. There, any document anywhere in the system, if you are allowing that same number to regenerate, then it is not allowed. So we do not allow any number to be used again. Once a cancelled, marks as a cancelled. Yes, the order becomes open once again and you can make the fresh invoice. So cancellation is allowed within the time limit. Anything which is after that time limit is treated as return, right? So when we say sales return, we understand duly that it was already dispatched, the authorization was already done on the dispatch side, and for some reason it had to be returned. Now there can be a reality situation that the material ultimately could not reach to the factory customer end, our customer's customer end, maybe because there was some breakdown of the vehicle in between and the vehicle had to come back. Fine. Now with the rules of the prevalent at time, obviously there will be an effect in the e-way bills wherever. So customers organizations have also to take, our customers organizations also have to take these things in mind, that system will adapt or follow the rules which are accepted by the government authorities, because our record is subject to their scrutiny. So uh, sales return has to be booked. Now again, sales return, this is on one example, and one would be genuine, that you have sold the goods, it reached the customer end and it did not meet customers expectation, or during the period of utilization there was some faulty component which they have sent it back and which needs either the repair, rectification, or maybe the replacement. In that case also you have to have the sales return booked. So sales return is a proper process in the system, and against the sales, like with the invoice, there is a financial entry generated in the system, as all of us can relate and understand. Similarly, on the authorization of sales return in the system, a credit note to the customer is generated. And this can be, as it is there on your screen, can be with invoice reference or can be without invoice reference. As I said, without invoice reference, when I say is, there are again two situations. One, like I said, we have sold the machine, our customer has sold the machine to an end customer, and he during the usage of the machine have found the one particular article from the BOM, say motor was found to be faulty, so he is sending the motor back. So it will be a sales return of the motor only, which will be in the invoice. What you have invoiced is the machine, not the motor. So that may fall under without invoice reference case. Or more importantly, there have been cases where our ERP has been put to use, but prior to that customer's business was already going on. So whenever customer's business was on, he had some previously executed order and invoice against which the customer is giving him the return. Sometimes the returns are also when there are orders for refurbishing the machine. So then also they have to give the old machine back, and based on that, our customer may carry out some activity on that, and that's a separate business altogether. But yes, in case of any genuine sales return, you have to book material coming back from the customer end. We have to book it as sales return. Sales return and purchase rejections are So in talking of sales return is marked in our system as two configurations. One, it is taken as GRN by default because it is understood that you have purchased from the customer. And similarly, when you make the rejection debit note on the purchase side, so that also is treated as sales. But we are aware that government has two provisions, that some customers may choose to reduce the rejection from the purchase side and sales return from the sales side. Then yes, we have relevant configurations available as a part of our systems policy configuration. So I think I have covered most of the requirement which would fall under our today's topic, which we would call order processing, sales order processing to dispatch related processes and its related processes that I have talked about. Sunil, anything that I have missed? Sunil, dispatch માં કાંઈ રહી ગયું? Just go to the CRM screen. No. No, I think that's fine. Yeah. So with this, I conclude today's my talk, and I switch on the microphones for all of you. If you